So Evan, I was recently on TikTok and I stumbled across someone named Tennille Towns, and you may not know who this is. I never
No,
mind. We
I'm
definitely both know who this is.
I'm not familiar.
But I found out that Tennille has an unreleased song that she's been teasing called "When's It Gonna Happen," and this song just so happens to be about how she's single and all of her friends are finding relationships and getting married, and I'm just kind of like, Tennille, what do I have to do? Please tell me. What boxes do I need to check?
Please explain. Nice. And you put on your story on your Instagram, the
I did.
CD. I've like
I
got
did.
my fiance's CD on hard copy.
In all
Jaren.
seriousness, though, I'm not gonna be one of those. I'm not one of those guys that like sees this and is in the comments like shooting my shot. Like that's not.
I'm
That's
gonna
not.
find
That's
a
on the
Tennille Towns
table.
post somewhere.
You
You've
gotta.
commented
Where's
somewhere.
bro? Expose me. I promise. I swear I did not do
Well,
that.
with that all out of the way, welcome to episode 14 of Waves on the Shore. This is the final episode of the year, at least recording wise. By the time you're hearing this, it is 2022. It is January 1st. Happy New Year. So, technically, it's the first episode of the year. But this episode, we are mostly looking back on 2021. It had quite a bit to offer. Lots of music came out. Lots of music was good. Lots of music wasn't great. We're gonna talk about it all. We've also got some film talk that will be buried in between. Uh,
Very excited for that.
brace for that. You can probably already know what movie it's about, and yeah, there will be spoilers if you haven't seen the new Spider-Man movie. But there will also be when you get to that point. I will do a
We'll
voiceover
warn
to
you
let you
guys.
know. Yeah, I'll let you know when to skip to if you haven't seen it by now. Um, yeah, anything you want to add before we kind of just get going?
Uh, well, after the movie segment, we'll do a fun little segment where I'm gonna kind of give my own, like Evan in his videos on the Overshore YouTube channel gave his own like kind of 2021 top lists, worst, all that kind of stuff. We're gonna do mine, and we're gonna kind of play a game where Evan is gonna attempt to guess what my top 10 albums and songs were
Yeah, the back half of this
for the year.
podcast will be like Jaren's time to shine with all of his year-end
Should be
stuff.
fun. Should be fun.
So yeah, but before we get into all that, um, talking about 2020 as a whole, we came up with a few questions or prompts or whatever you want to consider them. Um, and we're just gonna shoot ideas back and forth at each other. And so the first one, the biggest or most significant, scrap biggest, but like the most significant country albums of
Yeah.
2021. We've each curated our own list. I have 5 here. Um,
I
I'm
only
not.
have four. It's not really like in well, there
There
is
is a bit of
one
overlap as
example.
well.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
There is the one obvious one. Who wants to say it? Number one for both of us, I think,
Yeah. Go
was
ahead.
uh, was "Dangerous" by Morgan Wallen. Right at the start of the year, January 8th, 2021, he dropped 30 songs, and then a month later, he followed it up with 2 more. It broke
Yeah.
all sorts of records. It had the most album sales of any album, all genre in 2021. However, I did to put it into context to like get an idea of how big it is. I threw it up against the other biggest albums of the year. And so here's kind of how it stacks up. I've got the 4 biggest albums according to the website I was on, I forget. But Dangerous had just over 3 million copies at 3,091,000 copies sold. 30
Is that
by
like do you know if that's just like actual hard sale? Like
that
physical
takes that
copies?
takes into
Is
no
it
that
taking
takes
streaming? It's like
that's like total like streaming hard
I
copy. That's everything
yeah,
combined.
okay, I got you. I got you.
30 by Adele did 1.4 million sales, and I'll get into why in a moment. Why that's a fishy number. Sour by Olivia Rodrigo back in May did 2.6 million sales, and then Certified Lover Boy by Drake did 1.8 million sales this year. The reason I bring this up is because I was interested how Dangerous stacks up, given the fact it was out all year. Like, for the whole year, but the first week. Dangerous was out. You could stream it. Whereas Adele. So here's I put some numbers down.
Adele didn't come out
Dangerous,
till November, right?
end of November. So Dangerous came out
Yeah.
356 days ago. Sour by Olivia Rodrigo came out 223 days ago. Certified Lover Boy was 117 days ago. That's kind of crazy because it still feels new. And then 30 by Adele is only 41 days old. So,
And it has
1.4 million. So I did some math, and obviously this isn't perfect because, like, you know, it's not perfect. But these albums, if they were out for as long as Dangerous, so at this rate, at 356 days, Dangerous is obviously three and a bit million. Sour by Olivia Rodrigo would be at 4.16 million. Certified Lover Boy would be at 5.5 million. And then Adele's 30 would be at 12 million sales. So, like, is it the most sales this year? Yes. But it's also like,
it had all year.
it was built for this. Like, there's a reason it came out the first week, because it was going to be a monster. No matter the controversy that went on and all that, it was still going to be a monster. And so I kind of have a theory, right? Because you know who else is releasing an album very early this year?
Tell me because I'm drawing a blank.
It
Do
is
I know that?
Walker Hayes. He's putting
Oh,
out an album this year.
I honestly didn't know that.
And
At the beginning of the year?
I just checked it this morning because I was like, I swear there's an album coming up. So I'm thinking they're kind of going the same thing, seeing they had Lightning in a Bottle with Fancy Like. AA is blowing up too. It's like #1 on all the charts right now as well. So what better time to put out a full album? Now granted,
Walker Hayes Country Stuff album. So it's
yeah.
literally he had the EP and now it's just Country Stuff the album.
Here's the thing, right? When you pull it up though, I don't know how well this is gonna work because when Morgan dropped Dangerous, there's what 5 or 6 of the 30 songs out, I think, something like that.
Okay.
This Walker Hayes album's 13 songs,
I have an issue with the album cover. Sorry, continue. But
the Walker Hayes album is 13 songs, but we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the 13 songs. So we're really just getting another small EP. But
yeah.
so I don't know how like big of a pull from a advertising standpoint it is to say like new album out now. But there's not actually a lot of new content, but I think there is a very strategized reason as to why Walker's album is coming out right at the start of the year. It's interesting though, because I don't know, labels like to have those like accomplishments to say they did. Like they like saying this person has X amount of #1 songs. They have a #1 album. They had the most streamed. But yeah. So
Have
Dangerous. Yeah. Sorry, you go. I've done
Sorry.
a lot of talking.
No, you're fine. But I looked up this Walker Hayes album I found it on Amazon, and I'm looking at the cover, and I didn't mind. I actually kind of liked the cover for Country Stuff. Like he's sitting on if I remember, he's on a dock or a pier,
Yeah.
and he's got like a cooler and some other stuff. And it's like it doesn't. It's a cool little album. It's not like the worst thing ever. But this one is just him in a blue T-shirt leaning against a cinder block wall.
It's built for it's built for billboards.
I'm not gonna lie. I like the colors of it, but it's just like
Guys hit
I
the
don't
gym
know.
though, you know.
I do see that.
Arms looking kind of big.
It's just sometimes I wish I love like one of my favorite album covers is Magnolia by Randy
That's so
Houser.
clean.
And it's like this really pretty drawing of a magnolia, and then this is just like I could have taken this picture against the school that's like half a mile behind my house.
It's so
I don't know. It just
credit.
feels uninspired.
Yeah,
I
I
like the
mean,
colors of it though. There's like blue. There's like an orange hue and like a blue.
credit where
There's like
credit's
blue and
due.
orange kind of thing going on.
Walker knows how to capitalize on like a moment. Like Fancy like blew up. He followed it up with AA, which is also now blowing up. But like he's able to maintain such a juvenile feel in all of his like music, but also his advertising. Given the fact he's like 43, it's surprising how natural it feels to see him on these super like fun, colorful, juvenile looking album covers. Um, he's an interesting guy. My mom likes
Hey,
Walker Hayes,
hey,
so
yo,
I guess he's
he's
winning.
got a version of Fancy like with Kesha.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, no, wait. I knew about this.
I just haven't listened to it.
I must have shoved it to the back of.
Yeah,
I
bro. Like it's
must
on
have
everyone's worst list. They're putting Fancy like, but a lot of people are including the Kesha version. I'm not even listening to it. Fancy
All
like
right.
was enough for me. But you know what I found right when I listened to Fancy like the first time, I was like, oh my gosh. But now I listen to it and it's like I feel indifferent towards it. But I was thinking, I don't think it grew on me. I think I just got used to it because it's so everywhere. And
Uh
I
huh.
find that's with like Walker's music now. Like when AA
I don't
came
even
out,
think it's the
I'm just
most.
used to it.
I don't even think it's the most offensive song about
No.
like country song that I've ever heard. It's just it can be annoying. Like it just is annoying, kind of, just with
Yeah.
how it's everywhere.
Yeah. You know what? Walker Hayes, he's doing his thing. Um, and yeah. Yeah. Well, um,
Yeah.
yeah, Walker Hayes is an artist. But with that, so we both had Dangerous as our most significant album in country music in 2021. Who did you have at number 2?
I my list isn't like super solid, but looking at it,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I'd have to say Heart and Soul, but when you just look at the numbers, obviously it's not nearly as big as Dangerous. But I think because of what Eric was kind of trying to do, and we talked about this. People have talked about this before. At least I'm pretty sure that Eric was planning on doing a triple album before Morgan Wallen was planning on doing a double album.
Well, because he was releasing singles in like
Yeah,
2020, like May, June
yeah,
of 2020. So,
almost an entire year before.
hmm
Yeah, and I can really appreciate the because he was trying to do this big thing. Like it is, I think it's significant because each of the Heart and Soul, these three albums, as a singular thing, each of them, I mean, like they all come off as one project, but they're also three projects in one. And I feel like I don't know if anybody else has done that, at least in the country world, country
it
scene,
was a cool concept.
but I think for that reason alone, it's significant.
Yeah, I have it in two two lists for this video.
All right.
Um because there are goods and bads. I also had it as number 2 on my
Okay.
significant list.
Okay.
Because like I mean Eric Church, he hadn't put out anything since Desperate Man,
Which was November 2019.
2018. It was 18.
2018?
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
you're right.
18.
You're right.
Um
Yeah.
so there's a lot of build up to it. It's an Eric Church album. It's 3 Eric Church albums. There was a lot of hype around it. It just felt like when I look back on 2021, when I think about it for country music, the 3 things that come to mind for me instantly: Dangerous, Fancy, like Heart and Soul. Those are the 3 things that kind of just stick out as as
No,
like
that's fair.
kind of the summary of 2021.
Oh, I guess I don't have Walker Hayes on this list, but I think
Well, it's also
I
like
don't
an
even.
album list, so he's not.
Yeah,
I don't have him on my list because it's not like you put an
but I think
album.
that
But
I almost feel like the presence of Fancy like being on country stuff almost makes it a significant album.
it's one of the most arguably the
Uh,
most significant song of the
I'm not.
year.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm not like praising Fancy like, but because some people hear like, oh, it was so influential or so. No, that's not. just because you said something's influential doesn't mean it's a good or a bad thing.
There can be a bad influence.
Yeah, yeah. Like I actually saw this recently. I was talking to Joe about this and some other people and on Discord, and there was a post from an Instagram, a country music Instagram page. I don't remember what page it was, but it was a take that like
Right,
um
this is
Montevallo by Sam Hunt was like the most influential album of like the year that it came out. It's one of the most influential. Like I think actually it might have been one of the most. It might have said that it was one of the most influential country records of the past
I
decade.
believe this was
And the thing is, I agree with that statement, but there's so many people that disagree just because they don't like Sam Hunt. I don't
that was
even
Country
really,
Central, I believe.
yeah, and I don't even really
He's a
like
cool
Sam
guy.
Hunt that much. So it's like some people are just they see Sam Hunt and they're like, no, but it's like
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like,
just because you're saying the album was influential does not mean you're agreeing to liking it. Because guess
yeah,
what? I don't really like Sam Hunt. Sam Hunt's music. I don't
I don't
feel.
I don't like Montevallo. I can't. I struggle to listen through Montevallo,
Mm,
but I not sit here and deny
I know people that
how.
really, really, really like Montevallo,
Oh
and it
yeah.
definitely had a very big impact too.
Oh, it had a massive impact because that
Yeah,
was kind of like you could argue that was like obviously there would be like pop country crossovers before. There's always been pop country crossovers. You can look to like man, I feel like a woman and stuff like that, but um like that I find really was the turning point of like synthetic pop instruments being
sure.
brought into mainstream country, which is like now just a massive normal thing. He was kind of like at least in the 2010s by far the most um important people when it came to like mixing genres. Whether you think that's good or not, the influence was absolutely massive.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, who did you? Unless you have more to add, who did you have at your number 3? I have it a curveball here.
This is when it gets a little murky for me because I'm just not really sure because it all saying something is significant can't be completely objective. So
Yeah,
it's kind
because
of
it's like, what did you find significant this
yeah.
year?
I guess I'd have to put 29 written in stone. And I guess to be more specific, when Carly first released 29. So I guess not written in stone,
I
just
was
the
gonna, yeah, I had. Sorry to cut you off. I had
you're good.
at my number 4 spot, but I'm with you. I had 29, not written in stone, but the original one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the original one everybody was just like, wow, Carly's doing a new thing. Carly's going through it and she's bearing her heart out and I don't know, I feel like I want to like before this year I knew of Carly Pierce. I really liked the song Hide the Wine that she has. Um but she also had some other songs where I was like, these are okay. But this year like Carly's like my favorite female artist probably is Miranda Lambert, and now Carly Pierce is up there with Miranda Lambert and
Oh,
Tennille
dude,
Towns.
Carly Pierce has
It's
shot
yeah,
up my list as far as
yeah,
female artists go
yeah,
this year.
and it's like I'm really excited. I'm just really excited to see what she does. So I just for like this is such a turning point for her and her
Mm-hmm.
life, and this album is such a turning point for her in her own life and her just her musical work that she puts out because it's just like wow, Carly can really do amazing stuff, and so
Yeah,
I'm excited about that.
it's like for me, 29, the EP or album, whatever you want to call it, the original 7-track collection. That was like a big shock to the system because it's like, whoa, like I kind of just mentally the way I pictured Carly Pierce from her other stuff, I kind of put her in like the Gabby Barrett area, kind of stuff like that. Like not
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
not that like I'm not comparing like apples to apples, but I'm just saying like the kind of box I put her in. It's like yeah, she makes some pop country music. She's just kind of over there in that thing, but it was like a when she dropped 29, it was like holy crap, this is like phenomenal. Where I think 29 written in stone, sure it's more great music, but it's like it's almost like her just running the bases, whereas 29 was when she hit the grand
I
slam.
I will say, before 29 came out, she had I will say she had a couple songs that I think were exceptional that stood above the
Oh
rest.
yeah, no, she had good songs, but it's like for her to
I
go
can't say the
this.
same, at least for me. I can't say the same for Gabby Barrett, but I
Oh yeah,
understand what.
no, and
Yeah,
it's like a loose
I
comparison,
yeah,
but
I know. I knew what you were meant. I'm not
yeah,
saying. Yeah, I would also have put her in that same general
hmm
box because nobody's the same.
just a
Like you
big
can't say.
belting pop country kind of thing.
But yeah, but
Um,
like every little thing. I hope you're happy now, and
I hope you're
hide,
happy now
hide
slaps.
the wine.
Where did I have that
Very
on my
all very.
year-end list last year? It's pretty high. I think it was like 5 or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Every little thing though, that one kind of. It's like when if you're like in a vulnerable place and you listen to that and you're just kind of like listening to the lyrics, it's kind of like, man, life sucks.
dang, I hate this. Um, yeah, my number. So that was my number 4. My number 3 is where I threw a bit of a curveball, because like this is more of like an in the know significant album. So I guess like I threw it in as a curveball, but I had the Ballad of Dude and Juanita simply because it was Sturgill's last album,
Okay.
and
No,
like it definitely like um obviously it's not a mainstream album. It's not like people from outside of country can say like, oh yeah, 2021 Sturgill put out this, but like he's got a massive following, and like it really like landed in the I mean Sturgill's always gonna land in the independent scene, but this one really seemed to like um it's a super highly respected album, I think. Um and so I put it there because like just talking to people and just seeing the reception of like reviews and stuff. I mean, Grady's video alone did like massive on it. Like I always forget
sure.
how previous to this, I always forgot how big Sturgill was in the in the independent world. So I
Mhm.
found this album like there was a lot of buzz around it, and so
Yeah.
I kind of dropped it
What I find, I really appreciate what that album does,
in.
but I just, for me at least with that album, I think the thing is, I think it's good. I just don't come back to it.
That's I was talking to my brother
It's an
about this.
interesting thing
It's an album that
for
I
me at least.
highly respect. Like I have a lot of respect for, and I think very highly of it.
Mhm.
But I haven't gone back to it as much. It's like if I'm going for that sound, I typically my go-to is Coulter Wall when I want that super
Yeah.
western, super dusty swinging
Woo.
door. But
Throw on some cowpoke.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, the Ballad of Doom Juanita, I think it's like an exceptional concept album, and I respect the living crap out of it. But I'm kind of with you in the sense that it's not an album that I found myself going back to as much as I thought I would.
Yeah.
I tell you what, the one thing I go back to way more than I ever thought I would, Cutting Grass Volume 2. I still revisit that thing all the
I
time.
I'm gonna be honest with everyone here. I the only Sturgill album that I've actually listened to is his newest one. I am extremely late to the Sturgill game, and maybe at some point I'll get around to listening to all his albums. But it's just kind of like it's almost overwhelming because I know every single album is its own like thing, and then it's
hmm
like each album's different, and it's got all these like really like he's got these big fans,
I
like
also feel like there's almost like a pressure to like it too.
yeah,
Like
that is
to
also
come out
true.
and say
That's
I don't like a Sturgill album,
yeah.
I'd just be worried that I'm gonna have like a bunch of like people in overalls and pitchforks coming like a
Mhm.
torch parade at me. Like what's the guy that kidnapped Juanita? I forget the name, but if there was a name, I just picture a bunch of that guy coming at my door if I say I didn't like a Sturgill album. But um, and then last one you had. Our lists are pretty synchronized. I think we had the same one. I've got Human by Cody Johnson.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
I
think
think
that
when it comes to significance, there's some obvious picks. So I think that's.
yeah, because we
Or
are
we
talking
could
about
throw Intuition by Billy Currington in there, but it's significant because of how literally
significantly
confusing.
bad it was.
It's bad, but at the same time, it's like what is Billy Currington? Like not even like
He has People Are Crazy.
It's
That's a good
it's
song.
yeah, well no, but he has amazing songs. What confuses me about him is like for the last like ever since his album before this one came out, it's like he's disappeared off the face of the earth. And then he showed up in August and was like, "Hey guys, here's an album."
It sucks.
And then it's like this isn't even like this isn't like the thing is you had some decent songs on your last album. It's like did you just decide to like I think he's going full beach bum, full like I think
But
he's
half the time it's not even
no, but I
Beach Bum.
follow
It's
his
just bum.
I
Like this
fo-
intuition.
yeah.
Intuition's just bum,
Well,
bro.
the reason I say beach bum is because I follow his Instagram, right? And it's just like he's like your old like uncle that like doesn't really know how to use Instagram super well. So his like captions are always like, "What? Somebody needs to take your phone away." And it's like it's Billy Currington confuses me, and like all his like pictures for everything, like his picture on a Spotify page is still probably like 7 years old.
Yeah, I'm looking. Oh, his
And like you
his.
can't even see him for his picture for Intuition. Like it's I'm flabbergasted. But the thing is, one of the songs on this album has more than 1 million streams, and I'm trying to figure out who's listening to this. It's
Who's like, yeah, throw on that Billy Currington.
you know what? Intuition by Billy Currington, most significant album of the year.
Oh man,
Wait, what?
what?
Oh, okay. I just checked his Spotify and I got really confused because I saw he had a new release called Summertime and it's an EP, but it's just it's an art it's a mixtape. He's just like taking songs from his old albums and
Oh,
putting
okay.
them in a
You have to do an
like
on the
a
spot review in that case.
yeah. I was I was like what? No, it's like okay. Summer Forever came out in 2015. 6 years in between Summer Forever and Intuition. Billy Currington like does he tour? Like, does he? And if he does,
I
is he
don't
like
know.
conscious? Like, I, it's he's an enigma to me. He probably does. The thing is, he probably does tour, but he's probably just doing like smaller event. I don't know, but like he's not a. I don't know, bro. Anyway, off the Billy Currington thing.
Enough of Billy.
Are you guys?
Human, human. We were talking about human.
Yes, we were.
I think for sorry, it's just funny to just jump right back in. But I think for human, the reason I put it here is because I mean honestly, I feel like it was a bit of a mixed bag reception wise. More positive. It's more like on the edge of positive or indifferent, not like positive or bad. Um, but I kind of had it there because as much as I didn't like how he rolled it out with like 2 new songs every month for like 5 months, like as much as I didn't like
Yeah,
that, Cody Johnson was always the talk for like 6 months because he always kept putting out like
yeah.
really good songs. So he kept
Oh,
himself as like the hot topic for like half of a year.
yeah. I will say that I kept up with. I listened to the first maybe like 4 or 6 tracks that he dropped, but after that, I was kind of just like, okay, I'm just gonna do what I'm doing for Hicks tape. Well, I guess Hicks tape came out. I did the same thing for Hicks tape that I did for this. I was just like, I'm not listening to any of. The only thing about that I can appreciate about what Cody did that Hicks tape didn't do is that he didn't release all of them one at a time. He released like half the album, and then the other half came out with the rest of the album.
Yeah.
But Hicks tape was literally one at a time. But
It's
I did the same
pain.
thing. I listened to a couple of songs and I was like, these are good. These are actually great. But I'm just gonna wait because I'd rather listen to them all at once.
It just makes everything a little more satisfying when you finally get it. Um yeah, so I think that's unless you have more to add, that's like
I
our
don't.
bundle on the most
I don't
significant
necessarily.
albums. So we had another one. Um Biggest bombs. That's what we have it in our document. What albums or mostly albums.
I really want to say.
What album's
that
just
Intuition
bomb?
by Billy Currington is the biggest one, but
I
I
have it on my
think
list.
but I think I have to say that Life Rolls On is the biggest one, just because it's FGL. Just the fact that it's an FGL album, they've got a pretty big fan base and a pretty loyal fan base.
I have a number one
Um,
as well. Everything about Life Rolls On was bomb. It just
yeah,
the build up sucked. Like based on the pre-releases, nobody was looking forward to that album. Like what did they put out? They put out I Love My Country and New Truck, and I feel like there was another. Or no, cuz they put out the like EP that had like US
oh the
Stronger Beer 30.
it was like the 6 pack
Yeah.
EP.
So it's like not a
Yeah, I didn't listen to that,
soul,
but
not
you
a
know that I don't like
soul.
FGL that much.
I know, but it's like it's not like there's another album I'm gonna talk about in terms of bombs. That's like it was being built up to be like a pretty sick album, and even I was excited based on what we had to taste
I
beforehand.
think I know what you're talking about, but yeah,
But Florida Georgia Line just sucked from start to finish. When this
yeah.
album was announced, everyone was like, "Oh boy, here comes another trash pile." It came out, everyone was like, "Holy crap, this is trash." And then everyone forgot about it. No one cared. It was
So
such an L.
FGL for me is, if I'm being honest with myself, it is number one.
It has
But
to be.
and that's only because of there were some singles, there was some advertisement, there was at least a little bit of some push, and it's FGL, so it's like everybody knows who FGL is, so it's like yeah, it's a bomb. And the only reason Billy Currington's Intuition isn't number one is because
No one
there
cared
was
to
literally
begin
no
with.
because there's literally no expectations. But the fact that it's as bad as it is,
it
I
it
know we've already
somehow
talked about it, so I
disappointed.
won't. Yeah,
It
yeah,
disappointed without there even being expectations. It
yeah.
failed to meet the expectations that weren't even there.
It's just the fact that it might be the worst album that I've ever heard in general.
I was talking.
And it's disappointing because Billy Currington has actually a lot of songs that I genuinely
He
like.
has some good ones.
Like Pretty Good at Drinking Beer, that's a banger. That's kind of a deep
Yeah.
cut maybe. I don't know if that.
No, no, I know that one.
Okay. But and obviously there's People Are Crazy and he even had decent songs. We've already talked about this. But it's just like what are you doing, Billy? Anyway,
I talked to Jaren. We were on last night, and um, I was saying how like I listened to it like half-heartedly when it first came out, and just was on to the next because I was like, "Wow, that sucked. Don't want to think about it." And then when making my year-end list, I kind of just slapped it as an honorable mention. But I was saying to Jaren, that's because I never went back to it before making that video. I just remembered it being not that great. But I was saying if I went back and gave it another listen, it probably would have charted decently high on my
yeah.
list. I just couldn't be bothered to go back and put myself through that again.
My thing is like okay, so compare it to Life Rolls On, right? With Life Rolls On, it doesn't seem like a whole lot of effort was really put into it, but at least there was still some amount of effort put into it. For with Intuition, I'm sorry if anybody likes this album, but and I don't like trashing albums, but I'm genuinely confused because I know Billy Currington can make good music. I just need to know if he's like okay and like like
If he's in a good place.
or I think honestly I think he just did this because he's just trying to get a paycheck because all he's doing is vibing on a beach somewhere with some dudes. Like
He's
and like
chilling. He just
I
wanted
know.
a new boat, so he's like,
But anyway,
put out the album.
what's the next bomb, Evan? What's your next bomb?
So after Life Rolls On, yeah, I had Intuition as my bottom bomb because there were no expectations to
Sure, sure.
begin.
I just hate it so much. I
But
have to.
yeah, I'm with you. My second biggest bomb, I had Starcrossed
Oh, maybe I should have that higher.
because this album, again, I was saying to Jaren last night, I think I was generous to it in my review. I think if I reviewed that now, seeing how it's aged, giving it some more time, I think it's like we're talking like a 3 out of 10 or something now. And what sucks more, and what made it such a bomb, is I was looking forward to it so much, and my dad this morning, he throws like he just hooks his phone up to the TV and just shuffles different playlists all the time. And he had like a country playlist, whatever, on, and Starcrossed the song came on. And I'm just sitting there eating my waffles. And I'm
Sorry.
like,
I'm
man, like
imagining this.
this is such a good opener. Like for it, this is such a cool song. And when I heard that for the first time, knowing that I was like 2 weeks away or like a week away from a whole album, I was so psyched up. And then it just rotted. It came out and it just stunk of piss. I was like, yo, like what happened?
Dang. Yo, you were gonna make some people mad because there are some people in the Discord that love
Read
that
the
stuff.
lyrics, bro. I was shocked because it's like Casey is capable of such great music. Like Golden Hour is such a heater, like
It is.
9
I
out of
love Golden
10.
Hour.
And then Starcrossed. Wow. And like with all the like I made a whole video just like acting like some corny fanboy because I was so psyched and the concept was so
I remember
cool.
that video.
And then it just crapped the bed. I was like, okay, that hurts. It's like we're gonna have to wait like another like 2, maybe 3, maybe more years for a Casey Musgraves album. It's like I gotta sit on this.
And who knows what it's gonna be like.
Oh man. But I don't think Starcrossed hasn't really gotten the best reception, I find.
I wonder what Rustin Kelly's next project will be like. Just because this was like a divorce. Well, the thing is, her and Rustin Kelly are still like chill with each other. It wasn't like a
Michael Ray, Carly Pierce.
yeah, it wasn't like that or like a Blake Shelton, Miranda Lambert situation. It was like we're still like we still love each other, but not like in the same way.
Yeah.
You know? So I'd be interested to see actually what, because I went through a minor Rustin Kelly phase. Oh geez, almost maybe like a year and a half ago. I was listening to a decent amount of his stuff. He still has some songs that I've never heard before, but like for like a week, I was like, oh, his cover of crap. Why am I forgetting the name of the song? It's a freaking Teenage Dirtbag. That's what it is. I knew it. Do you know the song Teenage Dirtbag?
If I heard it, I definitely recognize the title.
It was like a super popular like punk like early 2000s kid like anyway
like,
he covers it
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
I
a
know
very
what you're talking
Rustin Kelly song to cover and he does it really well.
I'll check it
But
out.
I'm interested to see what he does. But anyway,
What was your number 2? What was your number 2? Your biggest
what's that?
bomb?
Oh well, my we already
Or was
went
it?
over.
Oh wait, was your second intuition?
Yeah.
All right, what was your what?
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it shouldn't be because there was literally no build up. But just because of how, just because of how bad it is. Like, there's nothing
You can't
I can
sugarcoat
say.
it.
There's nothing that I can say that's good about it, except actually no. It has nothing to do with how it sounds or the music at all. The album cover is kind of maybe a little kind of cool. Like it's not the greatest album cover ever, but I've seen worse album covers. Because it's like him on a street, but like the lights and like the contrast is cool. Whatever. Anyway, that's my one nice thing to say about Intuition. Well, I also had Star-Crossed high up. I guess for me, the most disappointing one for me, out of all the ones we've talked about so far, except for maybe well, it's hard for me to say I was disappointed with Intuition because obviously there's no build up. So I will say the comeback by the Zach Brown band was not bad. But it wasn't like great either. I thought it was just like good, maybe okay, and that's a little disappointing for me because it's like oh it's the comeback. I know I wasn't really hyped for it, but they're like marketing it as the comeback, and it's like, but it's just. It was a return to form, but it wasn't like they didn't reinvent anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't like there wasn't anything special. I feel like, so it's just that I guess for me it's a little disappoint. It's probably the most disappointed I was, except for maybe for Starcrossed, because I did love Golden Hour.
So I've.
But go ahead.
Were you done?
Yeah, I'm pretty much done.
No,
I don't
finish your
feel very
thought.
strongly. Well, I don't feel very strongly about what the Zach Brown
Oh
band
yeah,
did. I
okay.
guess that's the problem. You know, it's like I wish I felt more strongly about this, but I don't really.
Yeah, so I've got a bit of a hot take.
Really?
And let me explain myself because I just praised this album a bunch. I have heart and soul. Simply from a
Maybe.
marketing standpoint,
Okay. Yeah, I figured that's where you
this
were gonna.
thing, like, some of it was its fault. Some was just like a lot of it was just bad circumstances that
Sure.
really kind of dulled the
It was the
first
marketing,
experience.
and
Like,
then there's like Morgan announcing that he's gonna do,
exactly. It's like
and then doing it first.
Eric had this triple album all lined up, but we didn't know. But he had it all lined up. Well, then Morgan releases a double album. So not only does a triple album feel now kind of like, oh, when's the quadruple album coming, right? But
Hmm.
it's like everyone started releasing double albums so quickly. So by the time late April rolls around, he's already like, it just felt kind of like for as significant as it was, from a logistical marketing planning standpoint, the way it's structured, it already felt kind of like, oh wow, we're getting another multi-album release, when it
Yeah.
should have felt like, holy crap, three Eric Church albums that are interlinked. Whereas instead it felt like, oh, look, another one of
Yeah,
these.
and it doesn't help that Dangerous is as big as it is, you know.
It kind of got overshadowed. And then also, um,
Which is a running theme for Eric Church albums, especially when he's trying to do surprises, like with Mr. Misunderstood and
misunderstood, and then
Chris
Chris
Stapleton.
Stapleton just owned the night. And then
Yeah.
also there was like leaks of the songs
Well,
and
so
leaks of
sorry, I
everything.
have. We're talking about Eric Church getting like the brunt end of like everything. How do you not? How does Dangerous Man not get album of the year? How does it? I'm
Dangerous
sorry.
Man.
Like I'm. I meant Desperate Man. You know that.
Oh, dude,
God.
we've talked about it before. That's
I know.
got to be
I
one of the
know.
most shocking album of the year categories and wins of all time.
It just. I'm not. I'm sure. You can like those other albums. I don't have a problem with that. But just I. It's not my fault that I just like good music.
There it is. I still need to find that clip and clip it and re-upload it. I still need
Like
to find what episode that was.
like it has to be there has I know that agendas were being pushed there. Like you cannot tell me that
Oh,
you
100%.
you what it was like Cry Pretty, uh the Maren Morris
Damn.
the more that Maren Morris album, right?
That's a one girl.
Yeah, and Girl One, oh my gosh, freaking
Thomas
Girl
Rhett was in there with
One. And
his
then yeah,
Center Point
Center
Road.
Point. It was like this should be easy. Like this that sorry, we're this is off topic,
Oh my
but
god.
I needed to
Oh no, it
I
makes
hate it.
sense. But yeah, then like to finish off with Heart and Soul, it's like songs got leaked, stuff went out, then and the middle album was only available on vinyl, and then Eric was all of a sudden like low key Public Enemy #1. He just seemed to like, everyone's like, why are you only releasing it on vinyl? Now it's really only like a double album and one. It's just like Heart and Soul, great collection, great music, one of the most significant storylines of 2021, also one of the rockiest roads of 2021. So that's why I had it as
Yeah.
at my bomb list.
Yeah, I guess for me, why I didn't put it there, I do the marketing is a little frustrating, but it didn't bother me as
But
much as I guess
I
it
think what's
bothered you.
disappointing is like a lot of the stuff that went wrong wasn't even necessarily their fault. It was just stuff happened out of their control, and it just like indirectly had a negative impact, at least how I felt on the album. So it was like, it's one of those like, um I put it as a bomb, but that's not to like diss them or the music or anything. It's just like the circumstances of the world, how everything went down was just
Sure.
like, I felt bad. I felt bad for Eric at that time,
Yeah.
honestly. And then how many more do you have? I have one more.
Um, I do have one more. Do you
Are
want me
we
to
on
go
the
ahead and
same page? You can go ahead.
we might be. We'll see. It was Hicks tape probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's for me. I think we. I mean, we just talked about Hicks tape. I think last episode. or maybe
Yeah.
2 episodes. I don't know. I'm bad at remembering
It
things
would have
sometimes.
been last. I don't know.
Whatever.
Last 1 or 2 episodes.
But I guess the reason for it was just like a little. They did try to do it a little bit differently this time with how it was released and how like Hardy's not on every track, and I just think there were some decent songs, but I think it's just as a whole it was just a little underwhelming. So I guess that
The follow up to
there's all the
Hixtape
hype.
one.
Yeah, just a
It's
little.
like
I think a little bit of a bomb. I know there are people out there that are really enjoying it. And like I said, I don't actually hate it. I I think it's just an okay album. I feel similarly towards it. Well, the Zach Brown band album probably is better,
I think
actually.
also like the reason I disliked it as
I was
much as
about
I
to
did is
compare them,
like
but
as much as I stand by a lot of my claims, it's also just generally the heavy bro country stuff.
yeah, a lot of the
Even if
songs kind of
object
have the same vibe.
Yeah, and it's
Just
like if you like that vibe, you're probably gonna love Hixtape.
yeah,
Me personally, I don't. So tacked on top of like the objective issues I have with it, from an enjoyment standpoint, it also wasn't necessarily my cup
yeah.
of tea. So that just
It's not
really
even.
didn't help it for me.
It's not even the fact that they all had the same kind of vibe for me. It's also that like they all. It's not just the vibe. They actually all kind of. A lot of them sounded
They
very,
sound
very,
very
very
alike.
yeah.
Yeah, it was like recycled songs. Um, so I think we're done on the bombs. We've got one more category before we transition uh, into your albums with a brief interlude of Spider-Man. And that is the biggest surprises.
I'm really excited to talk about these
Biggest
because
surprises of 2021. I have a.
I think our list might be a little bit different. We
They
definitely have
might.
some.
They'll definitely give me a little bit different. I have like several names, so I don't think we can spend as much time on each.
I only have four.
Oh, I have 7. But like,
Okay,
I'm just gonna briefly touch on some of them, and I'm sure there's gonna be a bit of overlap here.
sure.
Um,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going first.
Yeah.
All right, so my biggest surprise, it had to be like album of the year from a debut, had to be Morgan Wade. Came out of nowhere, and the fact that the way I found it
Mhm.
was like months later. I was just like, hey, I'm gonna check this out with like not the highest expectations. I didn't really have expectations. I was like, all right, I'm gonna listen to someone's debut album, and then it was like, like my album of the year. So Morgan Wade has just, I think by law in my like
Yeah.
rule book, has to be my number one surprise.
You know what? There's something. It kind of surprises me that you like this album as much as you do, and that's only because it's very like alternative rock influence, and
Oh
that's
yeah,
like not
it's not
that's not
typically my vibe.
yeah, and it's very much like I like alternative rock, I like modern rock, I like hard rock, I like blues rock. Like I'm very much like a I grew up listening to rock. My dad likes rock. I like ZZ Top. I like it's just really interesting to me that you like this album a lot. Cause like my buddy Zach, who I've mentioned many times before,
Yeah,
who write music with,
Zach's like the
I've
honorary
tried,
third, fourth
yeah,
member of the pod.
yeah, I've tried to get him into Morgan Wade, and he just doesn't really. And it's fine. Like I've stopped trying because I'm not gonna force it on him.
Yeah,
But
and
it's like, and the thing is, he also likes rock. But there's something about the fusion of her styles that she's done that
that's the thing. I see comments that like take
I see. Yeah,
issues with the very things I find the most enjoyable,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like I understand. Honestly, if someone says like I didn't like the way the genres came together, I can understand that. It's just me personally, this thing really struck a chord, and it was just one of those like, lottery instances where it's like all the stars aligned, and I just friggin' loved it. So yeah, it's
Honestly,
definitely an
yeah.
interesting one. Who did you have
So I
as
guess
your?
while we're on the topic of that, it's actually almost like a tie because it's hard for me to. So I do have Morgan Wade like she's at number one, right? But at the same time, I also have Tristan Merez, and part of that is because both of them. Tristan Merez was almost a bigger surprise for me because
Really?
before his album came out, I it, somebody I had somehow heard of him. I don't remember exactly how, and like a just very it was not very long before his album came out. I went to his Spotify and I was like, oh, he's a smaller up and coming artist. He seems to have a decent amount of popularity. Like, okay, and but I wasn't like I was just like, oh, he's probably gonna be another guy who's probably like so he probably has a couple decent songs and the other ones are just kind of generic. But like he he genuinely surprised me because I'm listening. I like to listen to albums when I mow my yard, right? And so when I listened to his album like for like 3 weeks straight while I was mowing, just because it was so fun. And it wasn't just fun; it was like there's a lot of really good songs on that Tristan Mérez
It's
album,
really
and I
funny
can
you say
say,
that because sorry to cut, but my summer
oh, you're
job, I cut lawns, and it was
fine.
like one of my go-tos to cut lawns too. So that's just kind
Yeah,
of funny.
me and
Continue.
Evan on the same wavelength again for no reason
Just
in
how it
particular.
is.
Anyway, but like, and that's where they're similar because Reckless and this Tristan Mérez album are both just like they're
I
both
think,
really good in my
yeah,
eyes.
I think that
I think maybe Reckless probably is better, but to me, just how I didn't have I had higher expectations for this Morgan Wade album because of the things people had told me. When it came to Tristan Mérez, I was I didn't I was just like, wow, this is actually like I didn't have any expectations.
I think the thing for me is almost like the
So he
flip.
exceeded them so high.
Yeah,
Like,
I for me it's like I knew people had like been talking pretty positively about it, but I hadn't like I hadn't read anything about it. I hadn't like gone searching for people's like opinions on it. So for me, it came out of nowhere. Whereas Tristan Mérez, I don't have him on my surprise list just because I've been like listening to Tristan Mérez for holy crap, probably like well over a year now. Um, yeah, quite. I've been
you had
listening to.
already known about him.
I'd known about him and like I'd heard his EPs and like I already had a bunch of his stuff down and like Forgot About You was like one of my top songs of last year. So it's like when he announced the
Oh,
album.
I just remembered how I just remembered how I like how I knew him. Somehow I just stumbled upon Where the Neon Lies. Like nobody told me about it. I think I just it maybe it auto played on Spotify or maybe I found it in like a playlist. And I
Mhm.
remember listening to that and being like, this is really good. And so when the album came out, I was like, I'll give it a shot. And then I really, really liked it. Anyway,
But
back
yeah,
to what
so for me when he announced an album, I had like some pretty decent expectations for it. And it definitely met those expectations. It was one of those albums that grew on me this year. Like I already felt positively about it when it came out, but I've kind of just started enjoying it more and more and more. But I kind of had those expectations given his older stuff, so it didn't come as a surprise as much as it was just like satisfying, met my expectations, and it exceeded them in some ways.
yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of
So
like, did you know them before? I guess.
I guess to answer the most surprising question, I think Tristan, from at least for me, Tristan Mérez was probably just because I had no expectations at all, and
Hmm.
how he exceeded the just how he exceeded the fact that I had no expectations. Like
Opposite of Billy
he
Carrington.
set the yeah he set the bar pretty high.
Set the bar
Um,
pretty high.
bro, stop exposing me every time. Okay. Anyway, but so I think Reckless is I like that album more, but I think Tristan Mérez's album was just more.
Hmm. So my next, um, I don't like after Morgan Wade. It's kind of a little mishmash in the order. Um, but we were kind of talking about this last night. I threw Ryan Hurd onto this list. All right, listeners of the podcast, you won't know what happened. Viewers will notice Jaren has changed headset and there's now a dog on his bed after some technical issues, but we're back. And so, continuing with the biggest surprises of this year, I had, and like after Morgan Wade, I had Morgan Wade at number one. After that, my order is kind of like a little mushy, little not exactly clear cut. But I had Ryan Hurd right up there because when did Ryan Hurd get so big? Like I don't mean this to come off in a demeaning or rude way, but when did people start caring so much about Ryan Hurd? I hadn't heard about him till this year, but he's like one of the most streamed guys. It's like what?
Yeah, it's weird. We were talking about this last night.
Yeah,
It's I don't understand. I want to know who listens to Ryan Hurd and if like who listens to Ryan Hurd and it's not chasing you or to a T. Like, do you
yeah.
listen
Because I
to
gave his
the
album a listen, and it's like, all right, this is okay. Like, it's nothing jaw dropping. It's like some nice, simple pop country music. But I don't know, man. But he seemed to just blowing up this year, and I'm like, good for you. But it's just like, what? So who did you have next after
these
Tristan and Morgan?
I only have two other ones, but
Right.
yeah, I should go. Bo, I think I've talked about Bill Armstrong before, maybe.
Yeah.
Not sure. But I discovered him earlier this year, I think. I could be remembering that wrong, but I know
It's
that
older because he was one of the original What's On, and
oh,
you
you might be
recommended
right.
him.
Well, I think I only knew like one of his songs cuz this year I actually like listened to him. So
Hmm.
let's just for the sake of he so he surprised me this year mostly because I'm not talking about his old album that released last year. He's released a couple singles for an upcoming project that I don't think we know the release date of, and they've all been very good. Like he's continued to surprise me because first I'm like, wow, he's doing all right, and then I'm listening to his album, which I'm not gonna count as because it came out last year, but I
Hmm.
listened to it this year, and it's just really good. And he did a cover of "When the Party's Over" by Billie Eilish, which I'm not a huge I'm not opposed to Billie Eilish, but I'm not like a fan of Billie Eilish, and so I had never actually heard the original song before. But I have since gone back and listened to her version, but like his version pays a lot of respect to the original, but I think it's this beautiful song, and he actually did it about like for like suicide awareness, and
Hmm.
so like
It was like money. Yeah.
all the proceeds for it in the first I think it was in September or he might still be doing it, but all the proceeds for it went to suicide prevention stuff.
He's a cool
All the
guy.
sales. Yeah,
He's a cool guy.
and and then so he's just surprised me. I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting a cover of Billie Eilish, and I wasn't expecting him to do all this stuff. And he's really small. He deserves a lot more attention, but he's
So are
definitely
we
grown.
getting an album in 2022?
We might
Because
be. I
that is a
hope
project I would be looking forward to if that's the case.
he's also a guy who's pretty cool on Instagram because I've held multiple conversations with him in my
Huh.
DMs before. He's pretty chill.
Yeah, he's someone I'll have to keep my eye on this year. Because yeah, his 2020 album is really good.
Yeah.
Um, so I'll rhyme off three. Um, and then you can rhyme off your last. I'll rhyme off my last, or I can just go
Sure.
straight through and you can finish us off.
Why don't you go straight through and then I'll.
All right, so I'm just gonna go through these quickly. Brian Kelly came really out of nowhere because it's
Oh,
like,
that's a good one. That's a good
yeah,
one.
because it was like the Florida Georgia Line gong show of like Florida Georgia Line. But then he broke out, gave us the Beach Cowboy EP. I was like, dang, this is cool. This is cool. And then like he followed it up like a
Mhm.
month and a half, 2 months later with a full album. I'm like, dang, this is cool. And he's really like carved himself into a nice spot. Um, I also had Warren Zeters simply for the fact that like
Yo, I'm forgetting about all these people.
I again like I just I kicked my garbage can
These are good picks. These are
over.
good.
Again, I was just like did not realize how big he'd gotten. Like I knew him from On the Run last year, and like I was listening to his stuff this year, but only like recently, thanks to you, did I realize like wait, what? He's massive.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the scope.
The speed
Um,
at which he's grown.
yeah, it's nuts. Then I also had Carly Pierce caught me off guard at the start of the year. Um, like that was a surprise to me. Like I said, it was like holy crap, this is phenomenal work that I was not expecting. Um, I Kanan Smith bounced back with a really cool album that I think pretty
I
highly of.
actually, I need to. I'm supposed to. I told myself that I had to listen to that album. I still have not yet. I need
It's
to.
a it's a it's a cool one. It's a cool listen with a lot of good moments to make it really worthwhile. And that was like his first album since what, 2015, 2014, something like that.
Hello? My dad knocked on my door and
You're good.
my
You're good. I can just grab
Okay.
it. But that was really cool. And then lastly, I had Walker Hayes because what we already talked about him. Like, what is Walker Hayes on in 2021? Like the size Walker Hayes has reached this year has been crazy. And it's like if you told me last year, because like before this year he seemed pretty irrelevant. Like he was not irrelevant, but like he made pop country music. He had oh, I can hear it. Crap. You broke up with me. He had a few like hits lying around, but he was mostly one of those just like background pop country getting by guys. And then this year he's just blown up, and I don't know where it came from. So I had to throw him on this list. Like if you told me at the end of last year, Walker Hayes is going to.
That's a good point, though.
Walker Hayes is going to get the Holy Trinity. He's going to be featured on my best songs. He's going to be featured on my worst songs. And he's going to have the biggest song of 2021. I would have been like, bro, what are you... like, what kind of stupid prediction is that? But he did. He did. So, fair play. Walker Hayes doing his thing. He's doing his thing. So, yeah, and then you've got your last one. I'm interested.
Yeah, my last one, I guess the ones on my list are the ones that kind of, I guess, they didn't just surprise me, they also kind of left the biggest impact on me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Although, if that's the case, Warren Zeters should probably be on this list, but I'm going to be honest, I completely blanked, completely spaced that. He should be on this list probably, but it's whatever. My last one is actually Jaden Hamilton.
Ooh, okay.
And that's because...
You know what? You have a fair point here.
He had music before 2021. And it was... I didn't really know, but I've gone back and listened to some of it, and it's okay. It's not... It's alright.
It's hit or miss.
But his singles that he's been releasing this year are like, okay, I like this. Do more of this.
I think he's definitely someone to look out for in 2020.
Yeah, because Bad Spot and Heaven's Jukebox are both in my most streamed tracks this year. They're both very high. I liked them a lot.
I wasn't as big on Bad Spot, but I felt really passionate about Heaven's Jukebox.
I probably like Heaven's Jukebox. I can't talk.
Heaven Jukeboxes.
Heaven Jukeboxes. Heaven's Jukebox. I probably like that one a little bit more, but I listen to both of them a lot.
Yeah, he's someone to keep your eye on. I think he's brewing something up.
Yeah.
And so with that, we're going to have a brief. Jaren's gonna get mad at me for probably like 5 minutes. And then we're gonna go into the top albums and songs according to Jaren. So So you're gonna hear a voiceover because there's gonna be spoilers, and you're gonna hear a post-editor oversure tell you when to skip to right now. Yes, thank you. It is post-editor oversure here. As we said, there are going to be spoilers for the new Spiderman movie. So if you haven't seen it, if you don't want it spoiled, all that jazz, skip ahead now to 1 hour and 14 minutes and 46 seconds. You have been warned. If you wish to continue, we encourage you to. But, like we said, if you don't want the movie spoiled, 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 46 seconds. Adios, mi amigos.
Yep.
Cool. So, thank you, post-editor Overshore. What a brilliant job you did there.
Great lad.
So Spider-Man came out. Jaren kind of wanted to ask me a few questions about this movie, and I'm here to answer them and infuriate him.
I think the biggest question I have is, first off, did you like this movie? Did you think it was good?
I did enjoy the movie more than I thought I would, even as I'm watching it. I'm like, I don't think I should be enjoying this as much because, like, I find a lot of superhero, not that I've seen many superhero movies, but like this one I'm watching
very many movies in general
at all. But I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, this plot is getting quite dragged out, but it's still entertaining. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time.
Okay. And were you at all confused at any point?
Not really.
like you could kind of be like, oh, okay, this person is like, did you understand that?
M-
So
my
we've already
friends
stated
kind
that
of
first.
my
So
friends kind of filled me in before
okay,
watching it. They
so
gave me like just the background knowledge I needed to like be able to follow it. So I was able to follow what was going on.
okay, and so like they probably made it clear that some of the villains, and they explain it in the movie a little bit too.
They're from different times.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
from other Spider-Man movies,
Yes, I got that much.
and yeah, and nothing like this has been done before, which is kind of pretty cool. But so you were never like, yeah, I mean, if your friend, okay, that makes sense. Your friends explain it to you, you were able to put two and two. It's just interesting to me that you're watching this movie having seen
None
having
other.
no prior. So okay, we should give some context. Evan doesn't really watch movies. Yeah, last night we were talking. He told me that he probably there's a high chance that he hasn't even seen 50 movies in his life yet.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I doubt I've seen 50 movies in my life.
And then I'm over here with like bookshelves of like I own more than 400 movies. So it's like I love movies, and that just that dumb that that leaves me dumbfounded. I'm just kind of like, wow. So, how did you react to Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man coming in?
Not
Like,
like the other people, bro. I'm
okay,
posted
and
up in this theater, right? I'm sitting
did,
there.
did the other people scream and you were like,
No, no, like, first of all, right, Ontario, we're shutting down again, right? So you're not allowed to eat food in the movie theater, right?
um,
So you are sitting there with your mask on, with people watching you to make sure that mask stays on. You're not allowed
wait,
eating food.
they have people stationed in the theater?
Yes, staring at you. It's so
Wow.
thready. But anyways, um, so it's like you are watching this movie. uh, like the thing was right. I knew like um I knew Toby and I knew Toby Maguire. I knew Garfield. I didn't know his first name was Andrew, but I knew the
Yeah.
Garfield guy. So when like they came out, I was like,
The
oh look,
Garfield guy.
it's like the other Spider-Men are here. I was like, oh wow, cool. Fat kid opened up a portal, and here comes 55-year-old Toby Maguire, right?
Back
Everyone
in
just starts freaking out.
It's because
Everyone's
it's
like, no, but everyone's posted like, woo! They're like clapping, and like every mom's giving like a standing ovation. I'm like, sit down, sit. You are so white right now, so white. It's like an actor. Get this,
evidence.
an actor appeared in a movie. Wow,
I know.
it's
Okay,
just
and
like, bro.
that's interesting to see your perspective because for you, you have no you have no
So
obligation to this. You have no connection. You have
it
no
that's the thing.
emotional
This is a
stake.
very one-sided. Like this
Yeah,
is not a fair take for me to be giving out, but
and
this is how I
actually,
see it.
yeah, and actually, when it comes to people like clapping and cheering and stuff, I get excited in movie theaters when stuff like that. Like especially if I'm emotionally like invested, and I'm like, "Yo, there's no way they're doing this. This is awesome." Like that feeling's going through me. But I'm not a person that like stand. I'm not a person that stands up and like claps and screams because and part of me doesn't do that is because like when other people were doing it, I was low key getting upset because Andrew Garfield comes through the portal and I'm trying to hear what he's saying, but I can't hear what he's saying because everybody's clapping, and I'm like, people, come on, I'm trying to hear what he's saying. So I can understand that, but I also at the same time am okay with it
hmm
because
And I
I
also
feel
like, I had to get this explained to me afterwards, but oh, what was Zendaya's name in the movie?
Michelle, MJ.
MJ. Right, when MJ's like falling off the Statue of Liberty and Andrew Garfield swoops down and catches her,
Oh,
everyone everyone erupts in like cheer and everything. And so I had this explained to me afterwards. And so like I understand why
yeah.
that's significant,
So
but still
yeah,
in my seat, I'm there like,
just for
really?
in case
Like
somebody's listening to this and they haven't seen it and they don't care about spoilers because they're listening to this segment, I'll just explain the context very briefly. In The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is Andrew Garfield's version of Spider-Man, he had two movies, The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. In the second movie, his love interest Gwen is falling from a clock tower and he tries to save her and he like whips a web, but it's already too late because by the time the web reaches her to grab her, she's too close to the ground, and the whiplash of her getting caught by the web, hits her head on the concrete and breaks her neck, and she dies instantly. And so him being able to save uh MCU Peter Parker's love interest is kind of like this redemption. Like he couldn't save Gwen, but he could save MJ. It was like that's what
See,
it was putting himself in that same position, and it was this redemption for him.
and this is the thing, I can totally see now why that's such a big deal. But
Uh
I'm
huh.
sitting in the movie theater, everyone erupts and clapping and
Yep.
like
Yeah.
cheering. I'm just there
Yeah.
like, yo, we've watched like 7 people. Like I can barely count on 2 hands the amount of people we've watched different Spider-Man catch falling off stuff. But this is the one. This one y'all just freak out for.
No, it's really interesting to see your perspective because I have a Spider-Man poster here. I have a Spider-Man poster here. I've got Avengers. I've got Spider-Man here. I've got like I grew up with that
And
with
that's the
this
thing,
trope.
right? Everyone starts clapping,
And
but it's like, um, that's the thing. I
and
feel
for
like
you
super
and
douchey doing it,
yeah,
like having the take I have. But it's like I don't have any
yeah.
context. But it's like if it was a thing, like if when new albums dropped, you would go to like an album theater,
Yeah.
right? If something
Well,
like that
you
dropped and
get
there was,
excited. You get excited for these like. Remember when Dangerous was coming out, and we were like, people were having listening parties, kind of thing.
I kind of have one
Like,
on the Discord, but even then,
yeah,
like
yeah.
to put it in
I'm
perspective,
just
it's like surprise features and stuff. If there are like if there were like music theaters that you went for new album drops, and I like went to a Donda one and heard all the surprise features, I'd be the guy clapping. I'd be like, yes, yes, so and so's on the album.
for
So
for
it's like
sure.
it's just different what you
Yeah,
enjoy. But it was super funny
it's
for me because I felt so like I
out of
knew
place.
how uncultured I was, and I'm just making fun of the culture I don't even understand. It
No,
was quite a funny position to be in.
but I'm glad that you at least enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, no, it was a
And
good movie.
I guess I'm gonna give a quick couple thoughts for anybody that some people might be interested
Yeah.
in, because I'm a big. Even yesterday, Evan actually. I told Evan this. I don't remember if he remembers, but yesterday I watched the original three Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies with my family, just for fun, because we're maybe gonna go. I'm gonna go see the new Spider-Man movie with them. I've already seen it twice, so but I might be seeing it a third time with them. Uh, and I just where this movie leaves off, it's Peter is alone and just like it's almost like they made a clean slate for him, if
Oh
that makes
yeah.
sense. Um, and the reason I say that is because this version of Spider-Man is kind of different than the other two because this one has the Avengers, this one has Tony Stark. Like like Tony Stark has been helping him and been like a mentor. The other guys had to figure everything out on their own. And I I'm excited for Peter to be on his own now because that's who Spider-Man is to me. He's this kid who's alone, that's beat down every step of his way, but he keeps getting back up and he keeps fighting for the little guy and he keeps trying his best even if he fails, like that kind of thing. And like at the end of the movie, he's getting an apartment in some rundown apartment building. He's got a police radio on his phone, which is very throwback to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man because Tobey Maguire has a beat up old apartment, a police radio, and a silly landlord that like wants him to pay his rent on time, and it's where they leave the and then they leave us with a classic homemade Spider-Man suit, red and like bright baby blue, bro. My little when I saw that, I geeked out, bro. I screamed. I so just the ending of this movie is so satisfying because he makes so many mature choices, and we see him go from being kind of like this like in the shadow of Iron Man and all this other stuff, and we see him. It's almost like he is Spider-Man now.
Hmm.
So that's why it's cool for me.
Yeah.
So that's my minute. I would give it a very, very, very good out of 10, but I'm also biased because I love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And just for some context, the two Tom Holland Spider-Man movies before this, I thought Homecoming was pretty good. I thought Far From Home was okay. Like I didn't love them because they didn't feel like genuine Spider-Man to me, but for the reasons that I said earlier, like
Yeah.
he felt like Iron Boy because he's got all this tech and he's got like he was in Iron Man Shadow. Anyway, let's move on to our the big
Final
segment.
segment, the big one. Do we want to do songs or albums first? So, oh yeah, like we should probably transition. So now we're gonna move on to Jaren's top music. Obviously, I did my video, so I've given my 2 cents on all this stuff.
Yeah,
Jaren, on the other hand, has not. So this is gonna be his chance to give his best of the year, and I'm also gonna have fun
yeah,
guessing and predicting what he's gonna say. So we got his top 5 songs and his top 10 albums or
yeah.
projects. Which do you want to do first?
So first, let's do albums. Now, for the honorable mentions, are you wanting to guess what my honorable mentions are, or are you just wanting to guess like
We'll
what my
just
actual?
go like we'll just go actual.
Okay, so then I'll just kind of say a few things about my honorable mentions, and then we'll go into the top 10. So I actually have 6 honorable mentions. I was gonna do 5, but I felt like I had to include one. Um, my first one is Game Ball by Colton Vinner. I can't remember if I've ever talked about Colton Vinner on the podcast.
I
Does
don't
that
believe
name?
you have.
Him and Bo Armstrong I discovered around the general same time, and they both kind of I have them like they're both very small, but they have big songs. Colton Vinner has one called Honey Slow, which I highly recommend. It's gotten more than 1 million streams, but most of his songs aren't that big. Um, I love him, and he released a 5 track EP. Pretty sure it's 5 tracks. It's called Game Ball, and it's a lot of it is just written from his heart. The Game Ball is about the whole EP Game Ball is about relationships with his family and like or with his dad and just like his life. And I've ever since I discovered him, I really like him as a songwriter. Him and Bo Armstrong both are like they're not Bo Armstrong's a little bit more like I want to say he's got more of a grander
Hmm.
feel, if that makes sense. Like he's got the fiddle and the string, and it feels almost a little bit more cinematic. Whereas Colton Vinner is maybe more akin to like a Zach Bryan. It's not that. It's not as like
Yeah.
raw, but it's very acoustic and very much like that, and I love it. All right, and then so I highly recommend Game Ball. My next one is John Randall self-titled. This
I'm finished. Oh no. I had that
so
so high. Oh no.
so actually this was on my top 10,
Oh, don't tell me it
but
got booted.
it's one album that I switched to last night while me and Evan were
Oh
curating these lists.
no.
And I will say that it was only at number 8. So it wasn't
Oh
super high.
shoot. I had it at number 4. Oh, I
This will
way
be
overestimated that one.
but I did really like this, but I think that there is just better stuff. That's just where I'm at with it. But at the same time, there are some albums on my top 10 list that could maybe over time this could come back to like my top
Mhm.
10 of 2021, if that makes sense. But I
Yeah.
had to just how I was feeling last night, I switched it to my honorable mentions. My
And do you
next
have
one, what?
no, I was just saying, do you have more honorable mentions? I want to hear these.
Yeah, I've got some more. I've got 4. I've got 6 total, so I got 4 more. Tristan Merez, self-titled, is an honorable mention.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, all right. So, okay,
We're good.
okay,
We're good. We're good. I had that in
okay.
my consideration pile,
I've
but it
already,
didn't make
I've
my
already talked
list.
a little bit about this one, but I really, really like Texas Swing. So good. She's had enough of Texas. Very underrated. Um, obviously, Where the Neon Lies, very good. Day Drinking is just super fun. When She Calls Me Cowboy is also very, very good. I'm forgetting one. There's another two beers on a bar. Is
Yeah.
like there's just really
There's
good.
something
It's
for
just really
everything there. There's something for
um,
everyone.
yeah. Next one we have the Ballad of Dude and Juanita. I like this album, but I don't really come back to it a whole lot. I liked how it sounded. We've already talked about it a little bit, but it's
Yeah.
it's a good album. But I and definitely for my first full Sturgill listen, it was really good. I've heard a couple other Sturgill songs from other albums, but this one it was good enough to make it in my honorable mentions. I'm sure some
Yeah.
people have it a lot higher, but just for me, the replayability wasn't there, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, I know Evan is gonna just disagree. He might
Oh
have this.
no.
No, 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 no. I just know that you wouldn't have this in your honorable mentions or your top 10. But Behind the
Oh.
Bar by Riley Green.
No. See, I had it in my honorable mentions. Can I get
No, I
points
meant.
for this?
Oh, sure. I meant
Is that
like.
2? Because I got Tristan Moretz and Riley Green in the honorable mentions.
Okay, cool. No, I meant like you wouldn't have it in your own
Oh
honorable.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
The opposite. But
No,
I had it there as an honorable mention.
definitely not as good as Different Round Here, but I don't think it's it's not like Evan has said this in his review. He just was way more disappointed with it than I was.
Yeah,
I still think it's good. It's just more of what Riley has been doing.
yeah.
It ha- I would like to see um more effort and put into the next album because yeah, one of the tracks was a track that we got on an EP more than a year before, which was
If it wasn't for tracks.
yeah, that one. Um and then there were six other songs and some of them were pretty good. And I just all none of them were offensive, none of them were horrible. They was just good. So and
Yeah.
which is more than I can say for a lot of other albums. So I thought it deserved to at least be in the honorable
How
mentions.
many
But I
more
think
honorable mentions you have?
only one more. And this
Okay.
is
If it's not the
why.
one I have, then I'm concerned because this one I took out of my top 10, and if it's not an honorable mention, I feel like it's gonna be on the list. So I kind of hope it's here.
Okay, well, my last one isn't even a country album.
Oh no. Oh no.
I just had to throw it in because of how good it is. Surface Sounds by Kaleo is a blues hard rock album that I just love. Kaleo. I've talked about them before. I'm pretty sure. Um, I if any of you guys listening are into rock, I highly recommend you check Kaleo out. Very good album. They try new things on this album, but they're still at their core a hard rock album, a hard rock band. So I really like it.
Yeah.
All right. So how did you fare with
I got
guessing
two.
my honor?
I got 2 of your honorable mentions.
Okay.
Riley Green and Tristan
I,
Moretz.
I figured the Colton Venner one would probably
Oh, I never
throw
would have
you
got
off the
that. I
band.
never would have got
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm starting to feel less good about
I
this.
feel
All
like you
right.
could probably get my number one though.
I
feel
think I've got your number 1. All right. So what
okay.
is your number 10?
Well, how about do you want to guess first and
Cuz
then I'll reveal?
you said there were 2 EPs on this list.
Yeah, we should clarify. I did I for these honorable mentions and the top 10, I did include some EPs just cuz they're collections of songs just like albums are. They're just shorter. I figured cuz I like some of these EPs more than I like some of the other albums. So I wanted to include them. So, um
So
let me tell me
at
your
number
top.
10,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so this is the one that it's either, I was saying to you, it's a Hail Mary and it's either a
Uh,
full court buzzer beater or the fattest air ball. And it's one of
I'm
the
very
EPs. I have Tennille Town's Christmas EP.
Yo, you got it. You got it.
No way!
Yes, songs
At
for
number
Christmas.
10!
Yes, songs for Christmas. Songs for Christmas. Yo, Evan.
What did I just step on? Okay.
Evan sounds like he's watching
Let me put my headphones back
No
on.
Way Home.
In the
Yeah.
right spot as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a shot! Yes.
I remember you telling me last night. You were like,
Yes.
"This is a Hail Mary." Yeah.
Oh, I got it. Let's go. That's
Yeah,
all
that's
I
awesome.
need. That's all I need.
I
On
just
the
the reason
spot.
this beats out a lot of albums for me, it's only 4 songs. I know some people would be like, "Bro, why is a Christmas EP in your top 10?"
Because you
It's just
loved it
really
so
good.
much.
It's just really good. Like I could listen to some of the songs on this EP not at Christmas.
Yeah, and like that was the one when me and Jaren were on call last night. I just randomly at the call I was like, "Oh, I think I got something here." That was the one. Cuz I was just
Mm,
flipping through like my library and looking through like what and I saw Tennille Towns pop. I was like, "Wait. Oh, I'm so happy about
yeah.
that. Let's go."
It's her cover of Pretty Paper and the Christmas song are just so good, and Christmas Cards, an original by her, and One in a Million are both originals, and they're both just like really good. And it's just like this is the Christmas music I love. Like it doesn't make me sad, but it's almost like this content, just peaceful,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
happy feeling. I love this EP. So and because it's a Christmas EP and it's only 4 songs, but it's very strong, I had to put it at number 10. So
Number 9.
what did you have at
Okay.
number 9?
If I get I can't I'm not gonna be able to top that guess. I have Reckless by Morgan Wade.
Wow, you had it that low.
Oh shoot. Dang it, that's not good. I
Oh,
yeah.
I really like Reckless.
I see I knew you liked it. I just wasn't sure if you liked it that much. But
No,
I know you
you
really
can.
enjoyed it. But I
Okay,
guess I kinda lowballed it.
that's okay. It's okay. Um,
I tell you that
I'll
John
say
Randall's messing up my
I
list now.
so I will say I'll just tell you what number 9 was first off. How the Mighty Fall by Charles Justin
Oh
God.
no. Oh no.
I have since we talked about How the Mighty Fall a couple episodes ago, I've since listened to it more. I even got it on CD for Christmas. And I listened
Uh-oh.
instead all the albums
You're gonna
on
hold on,
this list,
Jaren.
of course, are good. What?
You're gonna have to go back to like when you said Christmas. You kind of froze there.
I froze.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I I got the album for Christmas, and I've gotten some chances to listen to it even more and more on CD, and I have listened to it digitally. I just for me, I think I like Seneca more is where I'm at. It's right now. But I really, really like it. Cranes of Potter is an easy standout. Jesse is also really good. Needle Fall Down is also really good. It's just something about it. Something about Seneca works a little bit more for me. This album is still really, really good. Don't
So
get me wrong.
my 3 and 4 are out of the picture now.
Um,
Oh no. Okay. Number 8.
All right, number 8. Go ahead. Go ahead.
See, this was a bit of a teeter totter because I don't know how this one aged on you. But
Okay.
I've gone Emily Scott Robinson, American Siren.
I'm about to break your heart.
Oh no.
It's not even on this list.
Okay.
The thing is that album's good. It just didn't really stick with me, like you just
Is
said.
that I
Actually,
wasn't sure how it aged on you.
it was kind of similar. It had a similar effect on me. Maybe I haven't listened to it enough, maybe, but I haven't come back to it. Like I haven't wanted to come back to it. So it had a similar effect to me with Sturgill Simpson, which is weird because I love her Traveling Mercies album. Um, so yeah, I don't really have. I wish I had more to say about her album, but
So
my number eight is my other EP.
oh,
Do you have?
I think if I had the right EP, I was pretty darn close then.
Well, what do you think the EP is? Oh well, no, well, yeah, sure. What do you think the EP
So
is?
my number 7 spot is The Last Resort.
Ah, yes, I had The Last Resort at number 8.
That's pretty close. I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
I'll get. That's pretty decent, especially considering we've already knocked out two of your couple.
Top 5. 2 of my top
Uh-huh.
4 are gone.
So, I honestly the only reason this one is this low is just because it's an EP. If it was a full album, that was like take The Last Resort and just expand upon it. Like it would probably be in the top 3, if
Yeah.
not in the top 2. But it's just I don't have much to say except I'm me and Evan both love Midland. The Last Resort is very 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 good. Um, I mean I just love all the songs. All 5 of the songs on The Last Resort are amazing.
Yeah.
That's all.
And so then what was
Um,
your number 7?
and you had
Was
Last
this
Resort at 7 for me. So my number 7 was 29, written in stone.
Shoot. I put that one too
Um,
high.
okay, and it's the reason I have it this it's hard for me to I shouldn't say it frustrates me. We talked about this on the podcast. I feel like 29 and then 29 Written in Stone could have just been 2 different albums in a way. Not to say it's still really good. Like it's really really good. But I like 29 being its own thing,
I'm kind of with you there.
and it's weird that they were like 29 written in stone, and I like 29 being its own collection, and then maybe releasing just a second album, like just two, like maybe like a two, like maybe 29 part 1 and 2. It and I just don't like that. I sound like I'm being negative. I'm not trying to be negative. It's just the
No,
reason.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, and I don't want to put 29 on here and say it's a better album than 29 Written in Stone, because I don't think that's necessarily true, because so many of the songs on 29 Written in Stone are very, very good. Uh, so it's hard for me to it was hard for me to place that one. So I could see it being higher in your defense. Um, it's just weird. I this one confuses me, like, because I don't know what to do with it, because I have some mixed feelings on just how it was
Yeah.
made, but the songs itself are all like really good. So I don't know.
So number 6,
Yeah.
I've got Heart.
Okay. I have Welcome to Countryland by Flatland
Dang
Cavalry.
it! That was in my honorable mentions. Dang it! That was
Are you kidding
oh!
me?
I
I'm not
had
gonna
that.
put.
I had that
I'm not.
one pretty high up as well, and then
I'm not gonna.
last second I was like, wait, no, no, I'm gonna drop that to an honorable mention.
I'm not
I
gonna put Flatland in the honor. Ever since I discovered it, I was going when I discovered Flatland, I was
oh,
going through a heartbreak, so they've kind of stuck with me.
I
Flatland is my
had that one
boy,
pretty high as
my
well. I may
boys.
have even had it at the number 6. Dang it, frick.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Dude.
At least you at least with a lot of these guesses you're in the ballpark. Like
I'm in the ballpark. I'm in the ballpark.
least you knew John Randall was up there for me. Cause and in your defense, at one point John Randall was on my top 10, and yeah, so it's anyway. Welcome to Countryland, just so good. Tilt your chair back. There's that 3-track run of oh crap,
Uh,
Daydreamer, Tilt Your Chair
chair
Back,
back and
and
stars.
Fallen Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tilt Your Chair Back, Fallen Star, and Daydreamer. So good. I love it. There's I will say that after listening to it some more, I still think Humble Folks is probably my favorite album from them, but this is still very, very strong.
Okay.
Um, and I also there was another song I wanted to shout out. Off Broadway. I like Off Broadway a
Yeah.
lot too. Um, all right. What's your next? What are we
So
on now? 5.
5. Number 5, I had 29. I had the Color Pierce at number
Oh,
5.
okay. I have I have the Marfa tapes at number 5.
Oh, I wasn't sure if the. Ah!
What
I,
did you do?
I
Did
didn't have that
you?
anywhere, and I thought about it.
Oh,
I thought about it, but I wasn't sure if you liked it that because I know Jaded loved them, but I should have like watched back the episode
I
or
have a
something.
feeling maybe you remember Jaded liking it more than I did, because Jaded liked it so
So
much.
much. So in
Yeah,
turn,
I
I
mean, I
thought you were
also
kind of
liked it
like,
so much. No,
yeah,
I love
dang it.
Miranda. I've become a big Miranda Lambert fan over the past 2 years. Ever since, because her first album that I ever listened to was Wild Card, and I loved Wild Card. It actually, so funny thing, first time I listened to Wild Card, I was like, I don't like this album at all, and I didn't even like. But then I listened to it again like a couple months later, and I was like, I really like this album. So, uh, yeah. So the Marfa tape really did it for
Whew.
me.
Well, this is where it falls apart. This is where the wheels fall off because
I don't think we've dethroned your number 1 yet, right?
no, but
What
at
about your
number
number 2?
4, I had John Randall.
Yeah, I had Soul by Eric Church.
Really?
I don't know if you remember this, but I actually prefer Soul over Heart.
Now that you say that, I remember this, but I had Heart over Soul. Frick.
Yes. It's probably because, and I've talked about this before. I'm big into rock and blues, and like I love the groove of soul, and I love just the.
Should have got
Some
that.
people, I know a lot of people are hard on soul. I know a lot of people will disagree with me. Um, I don't necessarily think soul's better, but I like it more, and
Yeah,
I love soul. Like Look Good and You Know It, and like
that's a
Where I Want to
banger.
Be, and it's just like Leonard Skinner Jones is not even like a groovy vibe, but I listened to that one a lot when it was a single, like before he
Yeah,
released the
yeah.
album, and I just really like Soul a lot. And the opener, and I know a lot of people are like, what is it, Bad Mother Trucker? I love that song. Like it's so dumb, but it's the that like it's supposed to just be a
Yeah,
silly.
yeah.
It's yeah, I love it. It's just Soul's a really fun time. and it's got some heartfelt moments on it too. Jenny is an interesting song, but it's grown on me a little bit. It's not the one I come back to most. It's probably the one I come back to the least, but I still like it. Like
Yeah.
there's not a song on Soul that I don't like. Where I know other people have songs on Soul that they aren't a huge fan of, which is fine.
So my number 3, I had How the Mighty Fall. So that's a bit of an L. What was your number 3?
Dangerous by Morgan Wallen
Oh
is my number
no.
3.
Eee. Oh, this isn't shaping up well.
Was that your number 1 for me?
We will find out
I
if it
think it
was
was your number 1.
if it was number 2 or
Um,
1.
okay, Morgan Wallen, Dangerous. Dangerous, I didn't, like, I wasn't really a Morgan fan until, like, I don't know. It's weird how much I've come to like Morgan Wallen over the past year, just his music and just
Yeah,
his
I guess I'll just say I did have it number 1. Cuz I wasn't sure, but like I know you listened to it so much and you're always
I
saying like,
did.
"Man, like I'm just
I
listening
still
to
come
this
back
so
to it.
much." And so I thought
Um,
like see, it would be like the cop out, but at the same time
yeah.
I I was sitting like, "No, I think it might be his number 1." So frick, bro.
It was it was close. There was these top 3 can kind of be a little interchangeable, so I'll give it to you. They're almost all
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
same level.
I'm in
So it's
I'm
not
in the
you weren't
right
far off.
area.
Yeah. Yeah. You weren't far off, and you also I have a feeling that you at least because we haven't hit 2 and 1 yet. I have a feeling you
I
at
got
least had
one
one
of
of
the
the
two.
other.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
hoping. There's an
because
obvious pick left.
my next one is Reckless, number 2.
Dang, you had it high. Okay.
No, I really like Reckless, like a lot. November Air is so
Dang.
good. Obviously
Dang,
Wilder
yeah.
good. I love Take Me Away a lot. Um like there's just so many good songs on
I had
Reckless.
Human at number 2.
Yeah. I had Human at number 1.
There it is. So I was close there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you enjoyed Reckless. Like I knew you liked it a lot, but I didn't. Number 2. Dang.
It's just one of the albums that has kind of stuck with me for
Yeah.
the whole year.
And then your
Up there with Dangerous and like the Marfa tapes and Code. Like these
yeah.
top 5 I come back to a lot.
And then you had
And
Human
so I had
number
Human.
1. So that's pretty close there.
A big reason I probably like Human more than I did when we reviewed it a couple episodes ago. Um, it's continued to grow on me. I honestly probably like it more than Ain't Nothing to It.
It's getting there for
Um,
me, honestly.
yeah, I think Cowboy Like Me might be a better album, maybe just because it's a little bit more focused.
I can see
But
that.
if I'm going with favorite like some of my favorite songs, Human has my favorite Cody Johnson songs. Like it does. Like I Always Wanted to so freaking much. I love it so much. And then there's Driveway and then
Driveway's
Treasure.
such a sleeper.
Yeah. Treasure is really good. Cowboy Scale to 1 to 10 is just really fun. I know
Thank
some
you.
people are like, "What is this?" But it is what it is. But the thing is, people are like, "What is Cody doing with this dumb, silly song?" It's supposed to be time. Like, this is where Cody Johnson and Josh Turner are similar for me. They're not afraid to do fun country songs like this.
But like that
That you
one's
used
so
to see a
well
lot more.
executed, I'd argue.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, and you used to see a lot more songs like this, more like back.
back in the
I don't think
day.
you see them as I don't think you see them as much anymore. Um,
I was
but
so happy to see Core Blonde on it. I was like,
yeah, and of
let's
course,
go.
I need to mention Human, the opener, amazing. God Bless the Boy is also really good. Sad Songs and Waltzes is good. Till You Can't is good. Uh, and then the Longer Than She Did is also pretty good. I Don't Know a Thing About Love is also
I don't know if
very
Think About
good.
Love is one of my.
So
Also,
like
When It
I
Comes to You
like
is one of my favorites.
oh I also really like When It Comes to You. Like it's
There's
I
just so
really
many
and
good songs.
yeah, there's so many good songs, and the ones that I haven't mentioned are still good. They're just not as good. But
Hmm
it's a very strong track list of 18 songs. I think.
Yeah.
Like if you cut the ones that I didn't name, I think you'd have a very very strong album for me. And the closer's
Mm.
really good. By Your Graces also. Obviously, it's
So
coming from a place of faith, but very good, very good. So that was my
yeah.
number 1.
You know what? The fact
Honestly,
I got the Tennille Towns on the dot, that's all I needed.
that's
It kind of
extremely
fell apart.
impressive.
I got
That's
I got in the
That's
ballpark on a few, but that one makes me happy. That's gonna let me fall asleep tonight.
that's
Um,
extremely impressive, honestly.
and then we
It
will
is.
move on
So let's do my honorable mentions
for
for my
songs.
yeah,
So
and
I don't have honorable mentions for these. I only have a top
that's fine.
5.
I'll just
So
go through them.
yeah,
And yeah, and like Evan just said, I did a top 5 songs because it would have been really hard for me to come up with a top 10 songs. And I didn't. I honestly just didn't want to put too much time into it. So, honorable mentions: "Where the Neon Lies" by Tristan Perez is my first one. "Heaven's Jukebox" by
okay.
Jaden Hamilton is my second one. "Chasing After You" by Ryan Hurd and Maren Morris is my
Never would
third
have
one.
seen that coming actually.
Yeah, I really like that song, actually. "Look Good and You Know It" by Eric Church is my fourth honorable mention. And "In His Arms" by Miranda Lambert, John Randall, and Jack Ingram
Yeah.
is my fifth honorable mention. What?
No, that was good. That like
Oh,
that
okay,
song was really
okay.
good.
So all of those songs are songs that were very much the top streamed for me. I loved them, had them on repeat. I even did a cover of "Chasing After You" um, on my YouTube channel.
You did.
Um,
Um,
so let's go on to my
so my
top five.
top 5. So at number
I,
5,
I'm very,
uh,
this is gonna be interesting.
at number 5 I had "Where I Want to Be" by Eric Church.
Oh,
But you've already put your Eric Church entry in your
yeah,
honorable mentions, so it's a big
yeah.
no. What was number 5?
So my number 5 was "Wilder Days" by Morgan Wade.
Oh no.
Did you have that high?
No, I picked the wrong Morgan Wade song.
Oh, oh,
Oh
was it November
shit.
Air?
Yeah.
Well, that was close. That was close, though. You were close. I just had to choose "Wilder Days" just because it's such an earworm.
It's you can't resist it. You can't
Like
resist
no, honestly, "November Air" might be a better song, but "Wilder Days" is just so good.
it. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so this fourth one, I don't expect you to get it at all. It's 4 and 3 might be hard for you. My top 5 songs are probably gonna be harder than my top 10
It
album.
was always
So
gonna be
don't
harder.
yeah, don't be so hard on yourself.
What if I get them?
If you get number 4, this will be bigger than the Tenille Towns EP.
Am I revealing my number 4?
Sure, sure, reveal it, reveal it.
Warren Zevers' "Outskirts of Heaven."
Oh, I should have. Okay, I'm gonna give you bonus points for that. That should. Well, the thing is that track came out like a week and a half ago, so it
It's so
hasn't.
new. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
you loved it a lot, so I was just like, would he
yeah.
put it on his
That's
list?
a really good guess, and honestly, it should probably be in my honorable mentions. I
I'll
probably
take
would
that.
not have put it in my top 5. So I'll give you, even though we're not
A
scoring it
half
like
point.
officially score anything,
Be
I'll
like a
give you some
half
bonus
point.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, my number 4 track was actually a song called "Everything" by Daniel Kim Etheridge. He's a pretty small artist.
I don't
I
think I
don't know
know
if
his name.
yeah. I highly recommend checking this song out. I really, really like it. I think it's beautiful. I've actually talked to Nathan in the Discord about it. So he knows who this, at least he's heard it before. He might not remember it because it was a little while ago. But I really like this song, like a lot. If I was ever kind of just like, I don't know, it kind of put me at peace in a way. I like songs like that. Um, it hit me. It's the name of it's very general because it's just everything. But when you listen to the song and the lyrics, you'll like understand why it's called everything.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, then let's do number 3. What do you have for number 3?
Um. So my number 3, I'd take. Frick me, I had "Northern Air"
Ah, okay,
by Morgan
gotcha.
Wade.
That's where that one was. Okay, so number 3 for me was a song that has been talked about already in this episode of the podcast. It is "When the Party's Over" by Bo Armstrong.
Oh dang! Okay.
When this song came out, I listened to it like 30 times in the week. Because I could see, I could see with my Spotistats app,
Yeah.
I can see how many times I listen. I listened to the song like 30 times when it came out. I probably listened to it like 4 times the night it debuted. I really liked it. Um, It's just beautiful. And I mean, this has nothing to do with the song itself, but also just the intention that Bo Armstrong had with it, with
Yeah,
suicide awareness and all that other stuff. But I just think it's beautiful.
yeah,
I also love the album art. Probably my favorite album art of the year. The
that's fair.
single, very, very good. Really cool. It's like an original painting that his friend did. So, number two, do you have a guess?
I had Quitting Time.
Hey,
It's number two.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go. Let's
Quitting Time,
go.
Quitting Time by Morgan Wallen was my.
I knew you loved that one.
I thought you were gonna go for Outlaw.
No, see, I thought about it, but
See,
I
and
was
that's
like,
so guess what? You barely dodged a bullet because at one point I had Outlaw at number two instead of Quitting Time. And because I
I got
really liked Outlaw, but but
it.
but but Quitting Time has stuck with me more. Like
Mhm.
I actually have streamed Outlaw more, but Quitting Time has stuck with me longer.
Yeah.
Like I come back to it more often. Um, I'm kind of surprised.
If I get the number one, imagine I get the two and one.
Well, I've already gushed about. I probably like 5 minutes ago I was gushing about this song.
Oh, then I may have got it. I might have got it. I might have got it. I might have got it.
What
I
is your
always wanted to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I Always Wanted to by
Yes.
Cody Johnson is the saddest song that I've heard all year, and that is why it's perfect. It is the quintessential country song for me. It is so good. Everything about this song, it even has bagpipes at the end, bro.
I kn- you've raved about that song so much. I had to put it in my
Shout out
number one.
shout out to my favorite Josh Turner song, "The Longer the Waiting, the Sweeter the Kiss." It now has competition for being one of my favorite songs of all time because I Always Wanted to is just. I know Cody talked about this on his video where he talked about Cody Johnson. Not Cody. Did I say Cody? I meant Grady. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, bro. Sometimes my brain doesn't work.
Is it about the
Anyway,
line with the memory fades?
it's yes, it's well, it's like pictures will never take, memories will never make, still fade, and it's like,
Dang.
dang, yeah, like it's lines like that, and it's just, it's so good. It is such a good song. Um, I love it. Yeah, so that was my top. You did it pretty good because you
I
got the
did
top.
quite good. I got the top
You got
two.
the top at 2 for 5, especially with it. I literally could have been like Tennille Towns. I could have been a memer, and I could have had Tennille Towns be my whole top five.
Imagine
uh,
that.
yeah, but this was good. I liked it. This was really
That
fun,
that was
actually.
fun. You know, we should
Yeah,
do more of these like
yeah, we can.
guess this list,
Yeah,
guess this, guess that. I
that could be
like
fun.
that. Hopefully you
Yeah.
guys enjoyed it too. Let us know via Instagram, via comments on YouTube.
Also, let
Um,
us know your top songs and albums, please.
yeah,
Message us.
if you
Leave
haven't
it in the
already, because I
comments.
know a bunch of you left
Yeah,
them in
yeah,
the videos.
yeah.
But feel free to drop them here as well. Yeah, I mean, beefy episode, but that's all good. It's the year end, so it has to be. Um, thank you for listening if you've made it this far. Thank you for watching
Hmm.
on YouTube if you've made it this far. Obviously, it's January 1st by now, so hope your New Year's off to a great start. Hopefully, you haven't failed all of your resolutions by now. It goes up on noon Saturday, so I really hope you haven't already lost all your resolutions. But regardless, thank you for a great year on the podcast. 2022 is going to be even greater. We're going to get some guests on. We're going to get some things going. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, anything else you wanted to add?
Now, have a very great start to 2022. And if you do
Mhm.
New Year's resolutions, more power to you. I hope y'all stick to those. Oh, we talked about that last. Yeah, if you don't know, I don't really care about New Year's resolutions. I don't really buy into them a whole lot, but if you do them, you go. All right.
Awesome. Bye.